Hello, everybody. We're getting ready to begin. Thank you for coming. 2 minutes. We can begin. We're on Zoom. Okay. Hello, everybody. This meeting will be held in accordance with Executive Order N2920, issued by California Governor Gavin Newsom on March 17th, 2020, the Ralph M. Brown Act, California Government Code, Section 54950, ET sequence, and the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act. This meeting will be open to the public. Seating capacity will be limited to the first 30 people on a first-come, first-served basis. Compliance with all health and safety guidelines, including COVID-19 screening. Temperature checks, face coverings, and physical distance measures will be required for in-person attendance. Members of the public may also participate and comment via the application Zoom. Zoom meetings information is posted on the agenda. Remote public comment is also available for the City Council meetings by emailing the City Clerk at cityclerk@ci.series.ca.us by 5 p.m. The day of the meeting, include the agenda item number or public comment period in the subject line of the email. The clerk may read written comments into the record. If specifically requested to do so at the beginning of your email, your written comment will be distributed to the City Council and kept on file as part of the official record of the council meeting. Welcome everybody to the City Council Chambers, 2701 4th Street, Monday, March 22nd, 2021. Let's call to order, please. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rhino. Here. Councilmember Silvera.
Here.
Vice Mayor Condit.
Here.
And Mayor Lopez.
Here. We'll begin with the invocation by Jim Hanna, Grace Community Christian Church.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for bringing us through another day. We thank you for our health and our strength and the ability to be able to get up and walk around and move around. God, it is a gift from you these days. We want to remember the hurting and the sick in our community. We want to pray for those who are lonely and discouraged, that they might find hope in the midst of this difficult and challenging world we live in. I pray for our law enforcement officials, our firefighters, our first responders, those who are on the front lines of healthcare, that you would keep them safe, that you would protect them, that you'd watch over them. Thank you for the great community of Ceres we have the opportunity to live in. We pray tonight for wisdom and direction for each of our city council members as they make decisions. God, we pray that you'd heal our land from this pandemic and that you'd bring a reversal to what is going on. And until then, we pray that you'd keep these members healthy, keep their children, their grandchildren, keep their family members healthy, and just continue to guide them. We ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Moving on to citizens communication. While the city council welcomes and encourages participation in the city council meetings, adopted rules allow no more than 5 minutes. Resolution number 2007-106 for expression of non-agenda items. Matters under the jurisdiction of the city council and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public. However, California law prohibits the city council from making any actions on the matter which are not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the city council. Citizens are entitled to address the city council on any agenda item up to 5 minutes provision. And we will begin by opening up the public comment for those that are present in the chambers. First, we will begin with Richard and Melissa. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for taking the time, council and mayor. I'm here to or talking about an address 1709 Hackett Road in Ceres, California, 95307. Again, my name is Richard Francis. It's Melissa Newsom, sorry. Basically, I want to discuss the intersection on the corner of that, Blaker and Hackett. We've made multiple phone calls regarding the cars running the stop signs. And finally, over the past 4 months, or over the past month, there's been 4 accidents on that intersection alone. And they've been pretty major accidents, like cars, getting hits, like T-boned and all that stuff, and then people just running them. And, yeah, it's pretty much no cop, no stop kind of a thing. We finally made contact with the engineering department after all this time, which finally escalated to the City of Ceres Police Department to come out and watch the intersection. Even though we noticed cars running the stop signs with no one being pulled over. I mean, today was the first time that I've noticed a City of Ceres police pull somebody over. Cars speed through the intersection all day and all night. Like I said, when the City of Ceres does come out, they're only there for like 20 minutes, which kind of stops them for a little while, but doesn't really do any impact. And I understand that they're very busy and they might get called out on other calls. As we know, around City of Ceres everywhere, there's busy intersections. I understand that. What we're asking you guys today is to consider putting up, I don't know, speed bumps or maybe a roundabout or something. So possibly help the car slow down before entering the intersection. Me personally, I have 2 kids that can't go out and play in the front yard because of this reason, because they just don't stop. And it's only a matter of time between one of the kids getting hit or something like that. What I need to know from you guys is what could be the next step to make this change happen or something happen. I know you guys can't make decisions right now, but just to kind of make a difference, or what steps do we need to do as a community to make those changes? We're open to any questions you guys have or regarding it. I will give you this, that when they do come out, they're present, and it kind of slows down the traffic when they're there. It's amazing. And I know that City of Ceres is super busy, but I'm thankful for over the past few weeks that they have made a presence there. It's been amazing, but it still hasn't stopped the traffic and accidents.
Out of 4, the houses, 2 of them has already been hit. And I'd say last year, gotten almost 100 times worse that intersection. As kids, I have grandkids. None of our kids' nephews are allowed to play in the front yard due to the fact that they run the stop signs daily, nightly. At night, there's guys out there doing roadies all night long. Last time I tried reporting, my car got damaged. Can't say it was damaged. Something, I mean, anything would help if we could. Like, we have to get neighbors to sign a paper, petition, something. Whatever you guys need.
And that address on 1709 Hackett, actually, It almost got hit, thank God, the tree was there. And it,
Would
and
have
it
hit
stopped
too.
and unless they would have hit the house.
I've been there 6 years. Mom's house, grandmother's house. They speed down Hackett Road so fast that a lot of them, when they're going, they just keep going. When they do, we just cringe and wait for another car. Takes us one more car. That's going to be in our.
Before 4 accidents in a month.
Yeah, we will most definitely look into this. I'll talk to Westbrook about this, and if you have anything to add.
Yeah, we'll chat with staff, engineering staff, and the police department and see what options are available.
Definitely, we most definitely want to see what we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and let all the other council members speak. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank you both for coming and sharing your concerns. This is a great way to express your opinions and make change in your community. From my knowledge, the engineering director shared with me a way to get a speed bump, and it does include a petition, and I believe over $2,000 cost from the community to do that. I would ask Mr. Westbrook to get that document to both of you so you could do some work on that.
Yeah, certainly. We can do that. We can look into staff. The policy does have some restrictions. We'll have to make sure that this particular circumstance can apply. But yes, I can get the information to Mr. Francis.
Councilmember Rhino?
Do we still have a traffic safety and control committee?
It's the city engineer.
So we don't have a traffic safety and control committee anymore?
The city engineer functions as that.
Years ago, it was an actual committee, which included council member, the police chief, the engineer, but it doesn't.
I'll research it. We may have that, it may have been one of the council appointments, but again, we have to go through the processes Commissioner Condit or Councilman Condit indicated. We have to go through the policy, but at the end, if there's a committee, we'll certainly bring it to the committee.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. The next commenter we have is Mr. Osgood.
Good evening, everybody. As you're all well aware, spent quite some time with the previous council addressing issues with the municipal code. As I researched some of the things that have been affecting us lately as a city, especially where issues before the council are concerned, I noticed discrepancies in our municipal code or what is the constitution of our city that fail to give you all direction, that fail to give staff direction on how we expect things to proceed. That's through no fault of your guys's, no fault of our citizens. I've had very extensive conversations with the city clerk and the county clerk recorder, registrar of voters on addressing some of the issues, and done my own research into the state laws where those things are concerned. We are able to, in our municipal code, make changes that would affect the city for the positive, give direction where there would be no possibility of this side against that side, or of things that we're currently engaged in, like talks of fire department regionalization. I don't know if you all are aware or have read the fire department section. We're in that municipal code say that the fire department activities have to benefit the citizen of series. So even the current municipal agreements that we have for mutual aid and such, where we're sending units outside the city into service needs of other cities, aren't allowed in our municipal code. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that we shouldn't help other communities in our area, but our municipal code should allow for every instance. Therefore, I'd move that in the future, you all appoint a Citizens Advisory Committee to restructure the side of the municipal code that deals with how our government should work. We know we've spent a lot of time readdressing the municipal code where it makes us more like a homeowners association time to look at how we make our government work and repair the code from that side. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Osgood. Let's go ahead and open up any comments if there's any on Zoom.
Yes, Mayor, let me see, there's one attendee with their hand up, Mr. Brandt. Mr. Brandt, I'll unmute your mic.
Good
Mic is
evening,
muted.
council. First, I would like to say the pastor that did the prayer was spot on. That was a really nice prayer. I watched the first 2 hours of the goal planning meeting, and it looks like you have your work cut out for you. Best of luck and bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other hands raised.
Okay, thank you very much. Public comment is now closed.
Even email.
Oh, we do have some
Say
folks
someone.
here today. Okay. Anybody out in the crowd would love to speak?
Dave tried a series.
Yeah.
You know, stop sign thing, I see it everywhere. Just because you do one, you got all the other ones. You'd be surprised when I take the dog for a walk or go for a bike ride. Sometimes they see me, and all of a sudden they stop and they should have just kept right on going because they're right out in the middle of the traffic. But anyways, I'm glad the meeting is finally opened up, and I'm hoping the planning commission is next. The last time I tried to get on Zoom, they changed how you had to do it. And when you got 5 or 10 minutes, too late to go through all of that. And you know, the last time when I was on the Zoom thing, the word I was looking for is this council has become dysfunctional. And hopefully we can get another member in here soon, not 3 or 4 months down the line, but soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
John Warren, Ceres resident. Good evening, council members and staff. I've spoken before at the other meetings regarding some issues that the council really needs to address as we're going forward. The 4th of July month is coming, and fireworks and the loud noise generally start in June and bleed over into August sometimes. So I remember at the council meeting last year, just after the 4th, there was quite a discussion as what needed to be done to maybe help correct some of the problems that we have in our local community. And so I encourage the council to put this on the agenda so you can address those issues before we get to the month that are involved. And also to remind you that the garbage can issue is still out there, and hopefully that will also be put on the agenda for us to address the new 11,000 garbage cans that are going to join the 22,000 that are already out there on the street. And hopefully some changes can be made so that this blight will not continue in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Thank you. The public comment section is now closed.
Here.
Yes.
The written
Oh, you
comment.
do have a written response.
Mr.
Okay.
Yeagley, yeah.
Thank you.
From Jean Yeagley, Ceres City Council. As for who told me 30 years ago that no permit can be issued for live band type music at a residential home, I cannot remember. But I do remember it was someone who told me in the planning department. But what I failed to understand for years is if a resident of the city constructs activity of a live band at one's home and plays for hours with a huge PA system, and you cannot get a permit from the city for that, and there is a municipal code for this noise issue. Why are the residents doing this not being issued a citation when a police officer hears this activity on the spot by the Ceres Police Department when a complaint is called in? Just what is the procedure for shutting down this activity, and what is the correct fine when in violation? Are these noise problems really to be expected by citizens trapped in fear in their homes? I have been told by officers many times through the years that it's up to the officer who has the judgment call for a citation as how loud it is or if it represents a violation. The officer has a say so on citations. Many people do not speak up in fear of something happening to them or their property. The person who calls and complains about the noise and the serious police officer who responds to the residents and hears a loud concert live band activity, then he or she should be issued a citation on the spot. No excuses. Hopefully, no more returning for a second call. Here is your citation and shut this down and now and do not make me come back. If there is a problem, then the Ceres Police Department on a first call on a live band disturbance by law enforcement, then should be then they should be granted the authority to carry out such issues with citations. The city of Ceres continues to have this problem during the spring and summer months and into the fall. There should be reports reviewed for those months in a year and presented to the council a benchmark for how many calls are made on a weekend for noise disturbances in Ceres. How much time and money Ceres Police Department spends on answering those calls. Seems like our city council, past and present, has not been convinced those who continue to abuse our noise ordinance to halt this problem. Must this continue? Why can't the citizens of Ceres have a peaceful and beautiful place to live? In order to cure the problem of live music playing in our cities, those in such positions who control the type of activity need to be given more power to enforce this and make the city a better place to live. That our city does not want this activity in our community anymore. Plain and simple. Do this type of noise problem and get a citation. No more slapping of hands and telling a resident to simply turn down the music. And the citation should be raised to $250 for one code violation. This type of behavior of adult homeowners or renters in our neighborhood of Ceres should not be tolerated. Not enough has been done to stop and correct this disturbing activity that citizens' tranquility, which is a right living in our community, and not for the few to throw our individual neighborhoods in our city into a musical concert type of disorder. Ceres City Council, Ceres Police Department, City Attorney, please resolve this problem which plagues our neighborhoods and homes we live in. Citizens of Ceres, stand up and voice yourselves. Make a difference in your neighborhood, community, and your home. Jean Yakeley.
Want me to turn mine down?
No, I
Thank you.
hearing aids are screwed up.
Do you have anyone else? Any more emails or phone calls, maybe? Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, oh, sorry about that. Mayor, Vice Mayor, here you go.
thank you. I did want to ask the city manager, we do have two items, one related to fireworks and one related to garbage cans coming up in future meetings, correct?
Vice Mayor Condit, you're correct. The goal setting workshop that was held last Friday, direction was provided to staff to address those two issues relative to the fireworks and to the trash cans. So those will be coming up on a future meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to conflict of interest. Is there anybody on the council that would like to declare a conflict of interest? Moving on to the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be enacted by a single motion unless otherwise requested by an individual council member or the public for special consideration. Otherwise, the recommendation of staff will be accepted and acted upon by the roll call vote. If there's anyone on the council that would like to a consent item pulled for further discussion.
Yes, Mayor, item 6.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to pull a consent item for further discussion? Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to pull an item?
Answer right.
No?
I'll move to approve items 1 through 5 on the consent calendar.
Second,
May we get the roll call, please?
Councilmember Rhino,
yes.
Councilmember Silvera,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Condit,
Aye.
and Mayor Lopez.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Pulling item resolution number 2021-27, approving an extension of consultant services agreements with Uniservice LLC for business license administration and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to ask Director Diaz, what's the purpose of this contract, first of all?
The purpose of this contract is for business license services. They administer, they accept the applications, they send out the renewals, they administer the entire business license program. In addition to staff in the office that assists any customers who actually want to come into the office.
And staff will be continually doing that even with this service?
Yes, staff is still helping customers at the counter and on the phones and directing them to the website if they want to sign up, do their business license online. Staff is still assisting customers.
And this is kind of an update to the current agreement with Muni Services, correct?
Correct. This agreement was initiated in 2015 with a three-year contract initially with 2 additional years, and this is an extension to that contract.
And did we have an additional staff person before 2015 that handled business licenses?
We did. We used to have a full-time staff person handling business licenses in our office.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Lopez, you'd ask if there's anybody in the audience
Yeah,
or
I'm
on
going to
Zoom
ask
that
them right
wants
now.
to.
Is there anybody in the public that would like to speak on this matter? Mr. Osgood, come on up.
I'm just concerned about the little things we keep approving. It's going to be $10 per business license that they renew, what we're told when I read through the deeper spots of the agenda. If my recollection is correct. I think that we could adjust our city website. I've had websites built for my personal racing and my personal businesses, and we can collect payments, Venmo, PayPal, electronic means, and it costs a lot less than $10 per transaction. So I don't know if we've looked at doing that versus going ahead and paying a company $10 to do a transaction when the availability is for the license holders to come in and see a clerk at the desk still remains. I would think we could put something on our city website where they could fulfill these services in-house at a much lower rate. That's my take on the issue.
Thank you, Mr. Osgood.
Director, I'd like to ask you another question off of Mr. Osgood's thoughts. Is there a better option, a more affordable, something that doesn't cost $10 out there?
Well, a full-time staff person, which is an entry-level account clerk, costs about $87,000 a year. This, we believe that this is the best option for the city. It's about $17,000 to administer the whole program. And that's why we initially chose it for the cost savings and the increased revenue.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody else? Thank you.
One hand raised.
Okay.
Randy Meyer, I'll unmute your mic.
Can you hear me okay? Can everybody hear me? I just wanted to also point out that Muni Services does more than the business license. They also collect the quarterly taxes and the downtown revitalization fees. So it's more than just a business license. They do, you can go online and pay for the downtown fees through their website.
Thank you. Any more hands raised?
No other hands raised.
Move to approve number 6 on the consent calendar, please.
Can I get a roll call? I'm sorry.
Who seconded? Do we have a second?
Second.
Can I get a roll call?
Councilmember Rhino,
Yes.
Councilmember Silvera,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Condit,
No.
and Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-1.
Moving on to unfinished business. Resolution number 2021-28, renaming Eastgate Park to the Guillermo Ochoa Park.
Thank you, Mayor Lopez, Council. Welcome, audience members, after being gone for a year. I'll take this item tonight. Mr. Lohr had an emergency and wasn't unable to make the council meeting. As the council may recall, last April 2020, a contract was awarded for the construction of a park, happened to be in the Eastgate neighborhood. As their staff was moving forward to the construction of that park, there was some discussion brought forward to the council to consider renaming the park to a different name rather than the Eastgate Park process, or the Eastgate Park that it was originally had been discussed. At your December 14th, 2020 City Council meeting, this council elected to go through a park naming process, and a contest was announced. There were some folks that were selected from the community to participate in the ad hoc committee for that. Mayor Lopez and Councilman Severa were among the council that participated in that process, in addition to the citizens of Lisa Mantero Moore, Jean Yakeley, and Brandy Meyer. Matt Lohr, the recreation manager, served as a liaison. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. So there were some, through the month of January 19th through February 19th, there was a park naming contest. People submitted their submissions electronically. We did receive some paper copies. As a result of that month-long process being open, there was 181 applications that were received. On February 24th, the ad hoc committee met and reviewed all of the entries that were submitted by the public members. Of those, Guillermo Ochoa Park had a total of 54 names received, followed by Veterans Park, which had 48, and then Howard Stevenson Park, which had 35. The ad hoc committee voted to recommend for this council to consider renaming the park Guillermo Ochoa Park, and that was approved by a 4-1 vote. As mentioned previous to this park naming contest, the sign for Eastgate Park had been manufactured and ordered. We do have it in possession. We've reached out to the contractor that made that sign. A new sign can be created. The cost is going to be about $3,000, and it's going to take about 3 months to manufacture and have the sign delivered. So depending upon the council direction tonight, if we move forward and Guillermo Ochoa Park is chosen as the name, staff will move forward with the purchase of that new sign, and we will have it installed once it is delivered to the city. We do expect that there's going to be a couple of dollars of cost to install that sign once we get it here, but tonight we're just really looking for the city council to move forward with the park naming request that was suggested by the ad hoc committee. As I mentioned, Guillermo Ochoa Park was the name. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Do we have anybody in the public that would like to comment? No, we do have Kimberly Ochoa that would like to speak.
Did you ask for public comment?
Yes, I did.
John Warren, resident, City of Syracuse. Naming a park after a individual can sometimes be a challenging process. And I know the committee was formed to come up with a recommendation to the council. And I also know that 2 of the names that were suggested or that came in during the Name the Park contest were only 6 votes apart. They were very close. And I know that 50% of the city council, as we now sit, was on the committee that made that recommendation. And I do believe they voted for the park to be named after that individual. Mr. Ochoa. And so that just leaves a couple of other people on the council to maybe give some thought to really naming this park after our veterans. And that's near and dear to me, and it's near and dear to Mr. Yeagley, who was on the committee. And I understand how the vote went. So I would ask the council tonight, because it was very close, and this is something that is lasting in our community, to give some thought to naming that park after our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Kimberly Ochoa.
Is it okay if I speak after the vote? You guys
Yes,
decide?
that'd be
Okay,
great.
thank you.
No problem.
No.
No.
She can't. Oh, then I guess you cannot.
Well, council, staff, my name is Kimberly Ochoa, and I just wanted to thank all of you and the people of Ceres and Mayor Lopez, Chance Condit, and the ad hoc committee for supporting and honoring my father, Guillermo Ochoa. I really appreciate it. I wanted to really give this after the vote, just in case you guys do end up acknowledging Veterans Park instead of Guillermo Ochoa Park, because this was more of a thank you for that. So I'll save my comments for another day. Thank you so much for your time. And I do know that there were also some emails. So I know you said there was a close vote, but I would really like you guys to consider the emails that you guys received as well, considering that those citizens took their time to send their thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly. Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to speak?
Hello, Mr. Mayor. This is Lisa Mantero Moore. I served on the committee and I'm very happy to be able to do so. Thank you, Supervisor Condit, for the opportunity to do so. I have a unique perspective. One is I served on the city council as the vice mayor when we had the opportunity to designate the parks in the community. The opportunity to recognize a member of the community by the naming of the park, to me, is a historic moment in our community. I believe there's a misnomer, and I feel very strongly about this. The opportunity to name the park was not a contest in a sense of a vote, like we have an election process where people are all polled on what their thoughts are. It was, please provide your suggestion. At no point in time did it appear as though the naming or suggestions coming in would be what the vote totals would be to reflect it in a separate conversation, saying the number was very close, so it should be this or that. The opportunity to suggest names of the park was just that, suggesting names of the park. And that is what happened. It went to an advisory committee vote. And as the meeting was transacted or concluded, it was very above board. The opportunity to recognize an elected official who left us while serving in office is something, unfortunately, that only happens when it does. The work that Guillermo Ochoa left on this community is undeniable. He lived in the neighborhood for where the park is erected, and this opportunity to recognize him and his work is once in a lifetime. The veterans and their commitment to our nation, our community, and our freedom can never go unnoticed. Having opportunities to recognize veterans as a whole and in part should never cease. We have recognized a number of veteran leaders in our community, and the opportunity to recognize veterans in a park or opportunity in the future is very important. And I encourage the council and community leaders to look for those opportunities for veteran recognition areas that are inclusive of the entire county, not limited to one community. This park and the naming of Guillermo Ochoa Park is a huge moment in our community and should not be ignored. And I strongly recommend, both as a member of this advisory council, but quite frankly, as a member of this community, to recognize the work of Guillermo Ochoa on this day and time.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No,
on Zoom?
Mayor.
Yeah. Yeah, one more person walking up.
Don Donaldson, and I was on the list. And I'm sure that did a great job when he was here. I know him. My name was on the list because I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served in Vietnam. I come out of Vietnam and I started a basketball program here in Ceres for 32 years, Parks and Recreation. I put the lights up on the 9 and 10-year-old field. Art Maley, Jim Marshall, Burl Condit, Joanne Borges, Kathy Casey, and Paul Caruso gave me the okay to put all the lights for the kids. We didn't have a T-ball field out there for the kids. We had a fire hydrant out there. We had a fire on the 4th of July. The fire truck comes out there, hooks up, there's no water to it. I pulled it out and we put a T-ball field there. I coached football here in Ceres. I started a flag football program here in Ceres until 2 city employees wanted to take it over, and they did it for 1 year and dropped it off. It's a pleasure to be nominated or to be on, but I just don't know what else a person that's lived in Ceres since 72 and coached thousands and thousands of kids. Richard, kids, you go to the store and you see parents and they thank me. You go to a ballpark and they come up to me and thank me. You wear this hat and people come up to you and thank you for your service. This is a park. This is a park. It's not political. It's not somebody that served on the city council. It is a park. What did you do for the kids in Ceres? You spent hours and hours from November, Thanksgiving, till Good Friday, every Saturday in a gymnasium from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, having all the kids in Ceres. Only Ceres kids. Now, how do you keep the other people out? You have to go to a Ceres school. We pay for them gymnasiums, the taxpayers. I'm not going to let people from Turlock come in here and play ball in our gymnasium and one of our own kids sit on the bench. That was and that caused a lot of problems. Athletic directors couldn't have their kids play in the program because they didn't live in Ceres. Some of the principals couldn't have their kids play because they didn't live in Ceres. That was a Ceres program, and the only way that I could make it Ceres is you had to play for Virginia Parks, you had to be in Carol Fowler, you had to play at Walter White, because it's here in Ceres. And in 1981, there was nothing for these kids to play. I took them over at Red Shield. So many kids wanted to play. I told the wife, we need to start one here. Dan Pacheco took me over to Walter White, and we got it started. Lasted for 32 years. Now you tell me some person that served the Vietnam veteran and served 32 years for the community with a basketball program. And you can ask any person from Patterson, Gustine, Escalon, they all wanted in the program. What program was the best for this city? And they'll tell you. 7 years now, we haven't had it. And look at this basketball programs we got now. They finally won more than they lost last year. We won championships when this was going on. Who voted for this? Politics? Did they look at that record? Did you actually look at that record? I'm sure some of you do. I know Brett knows me. I know Condit knows me. I know a lot of people in here. What in the world happened? Politics. Had to be. It had to be. Was somebody not looking at the facts, or they just didn't know? I know they know. I know every one of them that was on that. Moore. I know everybody was on there. If you like you, you win. If you don't like you, but let me tell you something. I don't care how many people or how many parents dislike me. I wasn't there for a contest. I was there for them kids. And if you was the mayor of Ceres and your kid didn't make the team, he didn't make the team, and I didn't put him on the team. That's what pissed people off. Every person that played, even Burl Condit told me, "You're going to let everybody play that can't pay?" I said, "You bet. I don't care how much money they have." You know how to make people mad? Tell them that they belong to the Lions Club and they can't make the team. You want to be a guy that's not very popular? Go down there at Costa Field and umpire ball games. That'll make you real popular real fast. So I'm not, I think it's a good name. I think Ochoa is a good name, but I just want to say what does it take? What does it take? What else do I have to do? What do I have to do in Ceres? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Yamilet Valladolid. And first and foremost, I want to thank you for considering naming the park under Guillermo Ochoa. A lot of you know him as a city council member. He served for many years here as a city council member. I knew him as a friend and also as a mentor, and also as an advisor for the Ceres Youth Commission here in Ceres at Ceres High School, as well as the advisor for and president of the Hispanic Leadership Council. So not only did he invest in the residents of Ceres overall, the city, but also in the youth. And I just really want to thank the City Council for acknowledging that and honoring him with this consideration for the City of Ceres Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom?
No, Mayor.
Anybody else? Any emails, phone calls?
No.
We do have one more person, actually.
Yeah, my name is Eric Alvarez. I want to first thank the council, the staff, and public for being here today. I chair Government Relations Committee for the Central Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we submitted a letter of support for this initiative. And I want to thank Supervisor Condit for his efforts to take a step forward in reflecting the culture and the diversity of the city of Ceres. I've been a resident for 20 years, and Council Member Guillermo was really ultimately one of the pivotal people in my life who enabled me to make that shift in terms of finding a niche in politics and student government and studying government at a master's level and a graduate level. But it was because of him. And I had the pleasure of serving with his son, Christian, on Modesto Junior College student government. And I always look forward to going to those meetings because I knew I would have a friend in Christian and a friend in his dad. And that was during the time he served on the council. And so that's what motivated me to pursue an advanced degree and really come home to the Central Valley, to Ceres in particular, and to avoid that brain drain. So I learned all those lessons from Councilman Ochoa. And so I urge the council to really take that step into further reflecting the diversity and culture of our great city. So with that, thank you all.
Thank you, Eric. Is there anybody else?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody on the council like to speak?
Yes, I would. As you know, that park is in District 3, which is my district, and it's actually been awesome to go drive by there a lot and see so many families out utilizing that park every day. I think I can probably speak for the 6 of us that were in that room, 7 of us with Tom. There are so many people that are deserving of recognition like this in our community. Just by the nominations, we were founded by some of the things that were written for people, and a lot of things that we really didn't even know about people that was really amazing. But the one thing I can say, and this is kind of goes along with what Don Donaldson was saying, is I don't believe in any way in our conversation when we were in that meeting was it political, not in any way. We talked at length about several different people, about what they had done for the community. It wasn't political. Don, I wouldn't lie to you. It was not political. Mr. Ochoa had a lot of support in that meeting. He had a lot of support from the community. Obviously, a lot of the different nominations were supported by the community, but it wasn't political and it was done the right way. And I'm happy with the decision that we chose in that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Councilmember Ryan?
Thank you. I can appreciate when people speak so highly of Guillermo because I knew Guillermo and he was truly a nice person and had this naming contest or naming the park happen when the dirt was still first out there. I may have been able to support it, but I think it's been, I don't know, 14 or 15 years that the site has been out there. The people that live there call it Eastgate Park. I think everyone calls it Eastgate Park. And for that reason, as much as I think that Guillermo was a nice person, I would have to say I'd like to see it continue as Eastgate Park.
Thank you. I know this is not the right place and time to ask if we could possibly create an ad hoc committee that would possibly give homage to veterans and or active members in the military alongside of Hatch Road, and then possibly extend the program to display citizens of Ceres who have done a lot of great things, but maybe that can be a discussion in the future, maybe possibly we'll bring it in the referrals. But I think that's something that I brought up early on when I first came on, because you have to understand that the city of Ceres does love and respect our veterans, as do I. So if there's a way we can possibly do that, I think it'd be a great discussion.
Yeah, we talked at length in the meeting also about coming up with different ways to recognize a lot of people in our community and being more along those lines where we need to start recognizing people from our past and our present. And we talked a lot about, as much about that as we did about the park actually, and totally support moving forward with some committees and looking for different ways to recognize our citizens past and present.
Yeah, so like I said, I think that's something I can possibly bring up in the referrals up in here. And then we'll discuss details ourselves or at the next council meeting. And thank you, everybody, for speaking. I think it's great that everybody's passionate about what they believe in. At the end of the day, I know in my heart that it was a lot of people that invested their time to submit those applications, and in addition to the emails that were submitted in 2020. There was a lot of emails that were submitted. City Clerk, do you remember about the number of emails that were submitted during that time, up in the 80s roughly, in support of Guillermo? But just so you know that this is a larger conversation. So as Mr. Cervera mentioned, that we've already been thinking about finding ways to support veterans. So that will happen.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-227.
28.
Excuse me, 28. Thank you, Mayor.
Second.
Can I get the roll call, please?
Councilmember Rhino,
No.
Councilmember Silvera,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Condit,
Aye.
and Mayor Lopez.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-1.
Thank you. On to new business. Mr. Westbrook.
Yeah, just wanted to give the council a brief update. Last week, we heard through the emergency operations centers at Stanislaus County that we were pretty close, but not quite there, to dropping from the purple widespread tier to the red tier. Hopeful that when those numbers are generated tomorrow by the California Department of Public Health, that we would achieve that red tier status. Also, Ceres has been doing well over the last month and kind of over the year, and our COVID numbers were kind of down near the bottom list. So this was just an update that hopefully will be transitioning into that lower tier tomorrow. Also wanted to make mention of this with the help of Stanislaus County tomorrow in the Ceres Community Center between the hours of 9 and 1, or until supply runs out, there's going to be a mobile vaccination clinic here in the community center, which will be in our large assembly. For anyone who's qualified to get the shot, it is going to be the Moderna dosage. Folks coming would enter through the side of the building. They would not come into the community center. They would go directly into the large assembly, but that's going to happen tomorrow between 9 and 1, or until they run out of doses, whichever comes first. So if the council has any questions regarding the COVID update, I'd be happy to answer them.
Not at the moment. Thank you.
Yep.
Moving on to council referrals. We have one referral here, number 9, general plan policy 2.B3 Greenbelt in cooperation with Stanislaus County and the city of Houston. Seek to establish a permanent greenbelt between Ceres and Houston. Brought to you by Condit. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I brought this item up because it's something we put in our general plan in our last update, something we had in our original general plan from the 90s, and just a goal that I think the city should put forward and put some effort into. And Mr. Westbrook, I think you have some details to fill in.
Yes, thanks, Vice Mayor Condit. Just wanted to give the council a little bit of history on this. I talked with Councilman Condit earlier today about this. So when our general plan was updated and completed, it was in May, adopted by the council in May of 2018. Shortly thereafter, staff reached out to the city of Houston and talked to some of their senior leadership about the potential creation of a green belt, as we had recently adopted our general plan update. At that time, the city of Houston staff had kind of suggested that they were going to be starting and initiating their own general plan update, and at that point in time, wanted to wait. So I think that because a couple of years has transpired since that time, I think that it would be, with the council's concurrence, staff reaching out to both the city of Houston and to Stanislaus County to perhaps re-engage in those discussions about the creation of a green belt. So that would be my recommendation if the council concurs.
And I'll make a motion to carry on with that direction.
City Clerk, we don't need a motion for that, do we?
So this is basically for further discussion only, correct? It's not, well, obviously you're going to reach out to Stanislaus County and Houston.
Yeah, I think that, you know, that would be the first step, is reaching out to them, having that discussion. If they're interested, then obviously we're going to need to bring something back at a future time to talk about the outreach and everything associated with that. So I think at this point in time, I'm just going to reach out to them, see if they're interested.
It sounds good. Yes, on my part.
And I think since the vice mayor brought that and wanted it forward, you're okay with staff going ahead and contacting Houston instead of bringing it immediately back?
Yes.
All right.
I support moving the conversation along too.
Yeah, and Mr. Mayor, I do have another referral for a future meeting. I would like to refer a future staff presentation and council discussion on the current tax sharing agreement between the City of Ceres and Stanislaus County.
So we can put that in a referral section at the next meeting and discuss at that point.
Thank you.
And I would also like to make a referral. We create an ad hoc committee to discuss ways to support active military members and veterans, and also adding citizens that have done great things for Ceres, whether it's athletes or so on and so on. And we can have that discussion at the next meeting on how that could possibly look like.
Yeah, we can put it as a referral item for the next meeting. We won't necessarily discuss it, other than discussing about what we want to do to create it.
Sounds good to me. Anybody else have any referrals? Elena, before we move on to the reports, I have a question for you. Would it be okay for me to either read Ms. Ochoa's letter in my mayor report, or have her speak on my mayor report?
Concurrence for her to speak would be appropriate.
I'm fine with her speaking.
That'd be great, if everybody's okay with it.
Yeah.
Ms. Ochoa, please come to the podium.
Good evening, council. Like I said, my name is Kimberly Ochoa. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak. I want to thank the people of our community, Supervisor Chance Condit, Mayor Lopez, the council, and the ad hoc committee for renaming Eastgate Park after my father, Guillermo Ochoa. My family and I are grateful and honored for the consideration and for moving forward with this proposition. My family and I moved to Eastgate neighborhood roughly over 10 years ago. When my father and I walked through Eastgate and passed what was once a large empty lot, he said that one day it would be a park. I asked him if we could add tennis courts to it, and he said, I don't know, mija, but what I do know is that this will be a safe space for the youth to play and engage in recreational activities. Now, my dog and I walk through this park every day, and I see it full of children and their families playing and laughing. It is exactly what my father envisioned and more. I know there was much debate on what the park should be named for, or if it should be renamed at all. And I respect the process which the council took in opening it up to a citizen-led ad hoc committee. I'm incredibly humbled that the response from those who participated in the process chose to rename Eastgate Park in honor of my father. My hope would be for when the citizens of Ceres see that you have all acknowledged, valued, and honored an outstanding member of our community, they will be motivated and inspired to do great things in our community as well. This is more than just the renaming of a park. This is a symbol of the values that Ceres upholds. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Does the city council have any reports?
Yes, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank our Public Works Director, Jeremy, and the whole Public Works team for their monthly report. Looking through Jeremy's detailed report, it's a great way to see what each Public Works division is accomplishing and what challenges they're facing. Also, I attended SRWA meeting on March 18th, And I attended StanCog on March 17th, where we approved a resolution, 20-27, and the Regional Early Action Planning Grant Program suballocation methodology. This resolution set a $35,000 floor in the REAP grant program. The city of Ceres will be eligible for over $125,000. Now, I just want to take another moment to recognize American Legion Series Post 491 for their Adopt a Highway cleanup over the weekend. It was great to be able to get out and participate again in another highway cleanup, and I'd just like to thank the American Legion for all their work. I will be holding office hours from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday, April 10th and Saturday, April 24th in the council office located to the left of the community center main entrance doors. If you have any questions or concerns or ideas, you can contact me at 209-566-5529 or email me at cocondit@ci.ceres.ca.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Rhino.
I also attended the SRWA. I was not there in person, but I Zoomed, and I was glad I did because I'm the alternate and I needed to be there. I wasn't advised I needed to be there, but I was there, and I find it to be a very informational community that I belong to. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Westbrook.
Just a reminder, like I mentioned, the mobile clinic, mobile vaccination clinic tomorrow, again, for eligible folks. It will be the Moderna vaccination starting at 9 a.m. until they run out. I do know that Supervisor Condit is in the audience tonight. He might want to speak as well, in addition to the department heads.
The attorney.
No report, Mayor.
Anybody from the departments? County Supervisor. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. It's great to be with you all here in person. I just want to echo Mr. Westbrook's comments. We are having a mobile vaccination clinic here tomorrow at the community center from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or until the vaccines run out. Very excited that we can have this mobile vaccine unit out here servicing our folks here in Ceres. It's a great opportunity. No appointment will be needed, and it will be the first dose only. I plan on being out here tomorrow morning to just oversee it and make sure it goes smoothly. But if you have any requests or questions for my office, we are up and running. Feel free to contact me directly. My cell phone number is 209-622-7485. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you very much. We will now adjourn this meeting and go to closed session for a conference with labor negotiators. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak in regards to the closed session item? We'll now move to a closed session.
Okay. The council